What if I told you that before Jesus walked on water, there was a man who prepared the path through the spiritual desert of humanity? He wore camel's hair, lived on locusts and wild honey, yet his mission was divine. Who was this enigmatic being? The one Jesus himself called the greatest among those born of women? Today, you will uncover the hidden mystery behind John the Baptist, the forerunner, the messenger, the one who came before to awaken the Christ within us. A place between worlds, where time feels suspended and silence hangs like a veil over reality. The heat doesn't only come from the sun, but from the inner fire of those who thirst for something greater. In that space between dunes and stone, the wind carries the whispers of awakening souls. And among the sands, a singular figure appears. A man dressed in wild simplicity, with piercing eyes and a burning soul. He didn't come to comfort. He came to awaken. He didn't seek crowds, nor prestige. His power isn't in eloquence, but in the raw presence of one who carries an ancient mission. He was known as John, not a temple priest, nor a scholar of traditional schools, but an initiate of spirit, one who walked between worlds, feet grounded on earth, eyes fixed on the invisible. His birth was wrapped in signs and visions, as is often the case with those who come bearing a higher purpose. Even as a child, his energy felt otherworldly, as if he carried a frequency that preceded what was yet to unfold. He didn't offer comfort. He offered truth. His message was simple, yet profoundly transformative. Prepare. Consciousness is coming. The time to awaken is now. John embodied an archetype, the gatekeeper, the one who appears at the threshold between the old and the new awareness. He didn't point to ready-made answers. He led seekers to the inner riverbank, a symbolic river, where one must strip off their masks, release their burdens, and allow the old self to be carried away by the current. The baptism he offered was not just a ritual, it was alchemy, the transmutation of ego into stillness, resistance into surrender. John was the mirror that reveals what must be dissolved, so that the new may be born. John was not just a messenger. He was the transition point between ages, the last guardian of a cycle ending, and the first beacon of a new vibration beginning, a living bridge between ancient tradition and awakening consciousness. His figure symbolizes something that lives within us all, the stage before awakening, that inner voice that calls us into silence, the restlessness that pushes us toward the search. Before the light fully shines, we must pass through the twilight of purification. John represents that liminal moment, the guardian of the threshold, as ancient initiatic schools describe. He emerges as the watchful awareness that questions, confronts, and clears the inner ground. Because no cosmic seed blooms in hardened soil. The land of the soul must be tilled. Access must be released. Guilt, mask, illusions, let go of them all. Within us, the archetype of John precedes the expansion of consciousness. Humility comes before wisdom. Emptiness comes before fullness. And every true awakening is first preceded by that inner descent. That's why John isn't a figure of the past. He lives in the present moment of every seeker ready to begin their journey. He lives in the pause between two cycles, in the instant when we feel something must change, but we don't yet know what. He is the silence before the revelation, the breath before the leap. And without that moment, no transformation is real. When the initiate meets the one who embodies full consciousness, something occurs beyond words. It's not just an encounter between two men. It is the moment when preparation recognizes realization. John looks upon him and does not see merely a man. He sees the reflection of what we are all meant to awaken within. A silent gaze, a presence so vast it halts time. It wasn't a common ritual. It was a vibrational recognition. The consciousness that prepares now bows before the consciousness that radiates. John understands. The time of crossing is over. It's time to leave the riverbank and allow the consciousness to flow like the river itself, no longer seeking something, but being the flow. And then he says, "He must increase, and I must decrease." A simple phrase, but it holds one of the greatest spiritual keys. For the higher self to blossom, the ego must step back. Control gives way to surrender. Struggle bows before wisdom. The John that lives within us, the one who is strong, disciplined, visionary, must yield so the greater self can be revealed. This symbolic moment teaches us that every spiritual path is a threshold when we stop seeking outward and begin recognizing the light within. And in that instant, the voice becomes presence. The seeker becomes the path. The journey is no longer about arriving, but about remembering who we already are. And if you close your eyes for a moment, if you quiet the noise of the world and just feel, you might notice he still speaks. John, the forerunner. His voice was not lost in time. It echoes within you. In the nights when your soul feels restless, in the moments of stillness when change lingers on the horizon, he whispers, "Purify, let go, prepare the sacred space within you. Something greater is approaching." Because before the light is revealed, the windows of the soul must be opened. Before awakened consciousness can bloom, the inner gatekeeper must call you inward. John lives within each of us. He is the part of you that longs for the real, the spark that knows there's more beyond the surface. So I ask you, not with words alone, who is John within you? And when will you allow your true self to be born? If this message touched you on more than one level, if something resonated in your body, your mind, or your spirit, don't ignore it. Signs don't come by accident. Share this with someone who is also crossing the threshold. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell, and come explore the mysteries of the cosmos with us. Because here, we reveal what was hidden, so that the light, which has always been there, can finally be seen.